Howdy folks, LP Guru signing in with the start of Summer Days 2022. As stated on my various online platforms, website, Facebook page, and I believe my YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken, the original Final Fantasy 1, is the winner of all the votes. So without further ado, I'm gonna dive on in, get this party started. And that was the epic intro to Final Fantasy 1. Now, as you can obviously tell, the very first video was obviously made back in the possibly 2002 era, because I believe this game was released back in, well, I mean, I know it was released back in the summer of 03, so it's probably some point in 2002. Starting a new game, doing easy mode. Normal mode, yeah, is more challenging, but it also takes a lot longer to level up. So, for the sake of time and each episode not being like stupid in length, let me pick an easy mode. I always like to name each character from iconic characters that are found throughout the entire Final Fantasy franchise. That's what I'm doing right now, clearly, as you can see. But one other thing that I do want to mention is that unlike most of my previous Let's Play projects, this one won't have nearly as much live commentary. I mean, I'm still going to be talking, obviously, I am right now, but my goal is to have each episode be as close to an hour in length. That way I can make as much progress in each episode as possible. But this being the case, there's no way that I'm going to be able to talk for a full hour straight. So there will be times that I'm simply going to be playing the game. I'll still have commentary on, as far as if I need to talk, say something real time, I will. But just giving y'all some heads up. Now there will be times where I'm not saying anything, and this is why. So yes, this is the original Final Fantasy. This is from the Final Fantasy Origins collection. So it's not like the actual original format that was released back on the original Nintendo Entertainment System back in the 1980s. This is the, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say this version was, I want to say it was originally ported from the WonderSwan gaming console back in the 1990s, I think, at some point. It's been, modified as well. Because this actual version, Final Fantasy Origins, was released on the PlayStation 1 back in the summer of 2003. So it has had some modifications and a few extras added to it compared to what existed on the WonderSwan. And like most RPGs, you have to outfit your party. Having to remember which is best for everyone starting out. It has been a while since I've played this. Making sure I've got one weapon for everyone. Now, looks like I do. I'll be going and doing the same with armor. And for those familiar with Final Fantasy I, you will definitely know what lies in wait. But for those who have never played this game, never seen it played by anyone, I will do my best to not give anything away. That's another challenge of playing RPGs in a general sense, especially making a Let's Play off of them. Because I'm so used to talking in a general sense that I have to catch myself sometimes so that I don't accidentally give something away in the future. And what also makes Final Fantasy I a very unique RPG is that, unlike most RPGs that were released back in the day, back in the time frame as this game, in Final Fantasy I, you actually purchase any magic, any spells that you want to use. Most RPGs are always based on the leveling up system, where when you reach certain levels, a character would automatically, learn a new spell. I'm just going down the list. Yeah. Some spells are kind of, some spells are kind of pointless. They don't really have much of an effect, and they end up making certain fights longer and more challenging than they need to be. I'm also having to make sure that I'm checking the actual recording screen and I don't advance the text too quick. It is very easy to watch it from the TV screen I'm actually playing the game on, which the text appears almost right away, but it's a little delayed for the recording screen. So I want to make sure that I give everyone the proper amount of time to read. But yes, after a much longer break and downtime than I had intended, I finally getting the opportunity to record again, and I have missed it a lot, a whole lot, more than anyone could ever possibly understand. Life has just been so busy with the past several months, and I feel bad, I do. It's like every time I would sit down to start working on a new, project, something in life would just happen that, required my immediate attention and action. And then from there, it's just like, go, go, go. I mean, like, non-stop. I wouldn't get another opportunity for several weeks, or in the meantime of taking care of whatever it was I was having to take care of, something else would develop. So it's like, it's like a never-ending vicious cycle. So yes, after having talked to the king, we are now ready to go and rescue Princess Sarah. Oh yes, and one more thing to note, that I had just forgotten about this. In this version, not really sure about older versions, but I think they're the same way. There's no save option from the main menu. You have to stay at an inn. Actually stay. Like, spend your money. And in that process, you're given the option to save your game. So what I always like to do is start off very simple with the fights, because as you can see, we only have one gil, and it costs more than that to stay at the inn. So just stay close to town. The monsters you run into are very simple, straightforward, aren't a real threat. But I like to save up enough money to go to the inn, save my progress. Because right now, if I were to be wiped out and have a game over, I'd have to start everything over. And now, under normal circumstances, it's not that big of a deal. But, given the fact that I'm doing a Let's Play, and, obviously, everything's being recorded, yeah, I'd rather, that not happen. So yes, you spend your money, and everybody dismembers themselves from each other and goes to their separate bed. And I save. And then your progress has been saved. Doesn't seem like I've already been playing this for 12 minutes, but I don't seem like the recording. It's over 20 minutes long. That's also insane, but I've also got to remember all the intro videos. They eat up some time, and they ate up about 5 minutes of time. So now, what I'm gonna try my best to not do, because I've discovered that I have this rather annoying habit when it comes to RPGs of checking status a little too much to see, how close I am to a level up. So I'm gonna try my best to not do that, because like I said, that can get kind of annoying. That can get old fast. But the very nice thing about Final Fantasy 1 is that at the start of the game, everyone starts off with the same experience requirements. So everyone right now requires 21 more experience points to level up. And if I'm not mistaken, that remains the same throughout the entire game, unless one of the characters is killed and isn't revived. Well, technically it's not killed, it's KO, not knocked out. A lot of RPGs back in the day, they didn't like to use the word kill. You're only knocked out. But unless someone is incapacitated when a fight ends and they don't receive experience points, then everybody's gonna stay on the same page, and we'll level up at the same time. I think that was mostly done back in the day because it was just easier on the hardware and the system memory and everything. It's easier to remember the same identical amounts of information rather than each character having different, numbers. But that just may be me. I may be completely incorrect on that. I really don't know. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, typically speaking, going to the Chaos Shrine, I think that's what it's called, you need to be about, you don't have to be quite level 5 when arriving, but I try to be, because it makes a lot of the enemy encounters there not quite as dangerous. As it would be if you weren't level 5. And yeah, at the very beginning of this game, it's really at the beginning of most RPGs, you don't really have to think. Nice, time to level up. You don't really have to think when it comes to, what character is going to attack what enemy. But later on, I will definitely have to be putting much more thought into my actions. And look, I'll just be straight up honest with everyone. I don't pretend to be a master at this game. Like, I love Final Fantasy 1, don't get me wrong, but I have had my butt handed to me in more ways than I care to admit from this game. But that's one of the reasons why I enjoy it so much, because it really does stand the test of time. I mean, of course, from a graphical perspective, I'm sure things look archaic, but from a fundamental perspective, it has definitely stood the test of time, because you could easily underestimate this game, because you just take one look at it and that's why I say don't judge a book by its cover. The same philosophy applies here. Yeah, this game looks very simple in terms of graphics and gameplay and everything, but it's also very, very merciless. Video games made back in the 1980s were not for the faint of heart. I'm sure everyone listening and watching is used to the term rage quitting. Well, you have the 1980s to thank for that term. Not really sure if that term was around back in the 1980s, but yeah, games released in that era, they are definitely directly to blame, without a doubt. And I may or may not have been guilty of rage quitting once or twice, or a few dozen times in my own time, but that's another story for another time. Oh, another point of interest. This is being played in easy mode, but in a normal mode right now, the next level experience required would be at least double this. So ultimately, reaching level 5, you would easily be into the 500 experience point range by the time you reach level 5, if not closer to the 1000 experience point range. And maybe one day I'll go back and play this game on normal mode. I may not necessarily make a let's play out of it, but if there's enough interest, if there's enough demand for it, then yeah, I can look into doing something like either some sort of live stream or something on it. And so just like that, you have no guarantee that the enemies aren't all of a sudden just going to gang up on a single character, because so far they haven't yet. They've kind of been dispersing their attacks to everybody. That's why I say you always stay on your toes. And another thing, I'm all over the place, I know, and I'm sorry about that. But Final Fantasy 1 does not have the MP. Well, they do. They have the MP, like magic point system, but what most people are used to doesn't exist. The original version, and this is true to form from the NES days, back in the 80s. But as you can see, with the MP, everything is tiered because there's different levels. I guess that'd be the right word. There's different levels to magic. So instead of spells costing a different number of MP to cast, they all cost just 1 MP, but the trade-off is, as you can see with our white mage and black mage, you have a max. And as we level up, you will also eventually see the higher level spells in a general sense, higher level MP capacities. You will start to see those get a 1 or a number in a general sense to the right of the forward slash. But like right now, I can't use any more magic for Rosa. You know, she can't cast any more magic until I stay at the end and restore things. And that's actually what I'm about to do. Because if I get in another jam, I'm not going to have any means of restoring hit points. From a very early point, Final Fantasy 1 teaches players that you have to level grind. And I'll also say this much. Even though these episodes aren't going to be seen real time, because I plan to release X number of episodes in a part. I'm trying to split this entire project up into equal parts of the project. So what I'm trying to say is there's going to be X number of episodes in a part, but that's going to be determined by the total number of episodes that's in the entire project. So right now, I could easily say, okay, there's going to be 4 parts to this project. But in all honesty, I don't know that, because I don't know how many episodes there's going to be yet, because I'm saying all this real time as this is being recorded. So there's a very real possibility that part 1 could be comprised of 15 episodes, just throwing out a random number, because overall this project could take up 60 episodes. That would be 4 equal parts of 15 episodes. Again, this is simply a hypothetical. I won't know a more accurate number until I've progressed further into this project. But I think I may have stated this earlier in this episode, but full details on everything I'm saying right now. It's on my website, on my Facebook page. Go into a lot more detail than what I'm saying right now. So please, if you have the time, go and just look at that. Check into that. It could answer any questions that you may have. So yes, that's it for that topic for now. Sorry if I seem to ramble on there for a little bit. It's also at this point in the episode, when I was talking in real time, that I realized that my live commentary was no longer recording. So right now, everything you're hearing is an actual voiceover that I'm having to do while editing this episode and putting everything together after the fact. Matter of fact, when I was talking about number of episodes and parts and everything, if anyone noticed that my voice sounded a little different, maybe the volume and everything, if I sounded kind of distant, that's why. That was actually the first voiceover that I had to start doing. So unfortunately, all of my original, well, not all of my original, but everything up to about the 34-minute mark is in the original. That's all original content, me talking. But then about the 34-minute mark, live commentary for whatever, stopped recording. I didn't realize this real time in the recording. I didn't notice that until towards the very end of recording the episode. And I'm thinking to myself, this is way too much content to delete and start over from scratch. So I do apologize. I have no idea what could have caused my live commentary to stop recording, but here we are. I'm going to try my best to remember what it was that I was talking about in the episode. I'm going to guarantee it, of course, because I'm no longer in that moment. I'm editing this episode next day, so it's been over a 24-hour time frame, so I'm not really remembering what all I was talking about. So yeah, that sucks a lot. But I am going to try my best to let this voiceover be as informative as the original commentary had been. But that being said, I'm not just going to mindlessly ramble during these voiceovers. So there will be points in time in the remaining portions at the last 20 minutes or so of the episode where I may not be saying anything, but that's mostly to spare all of you from me mindlessly rambling on. But I will add this really quick. If I do remember any of the things that I had originally said, I will most definitely include it. And, unless I'm mistaken, when I had the main menu, the status menu open a little while ago, I believe that I was talking about the importance of saving your progress as often as possible. But I believe that everyone had just leveled up previously. So, main point here is in any given RPG, it's super important to save as frequently as possible, but that's especially true in the original Final Fantasy game, because anything crazy can happen at a completely random time, and you can be wiped out, so just make sure to save as often as possible, because it would really stink to make a lot of progress, whether it's gaining 2 or 3 levels or progressing the story a good bit or both, and then having a game over and the last time you saved your progress was before any of that happened, and then you have to replay everything. Yeah, that's not fun. And trust me, I do speak from experience on this topic. And yeah, like I just said, it's definitely no fun. And in this fight, I was making the comment about how as you begin to travel a little further away from town, you will begin to encounter, obviously, different types of enemies that are a little stronger, but that also give a good bit more experience points. And in addition, I believe I was also saying that once you reach level 3, which I think is right, yep, or level 3. Once you reach level 3, that's a safe point to start getting away from town just a little bit. You're still not strong enough to go too far away from town, but if you don't start getting away from town a little bit, it's going to take forever to level up. So with greater risk comes greater reward, and in this case greater reward is more experience points, which is definitely a good thing. But you just still need to be careful and mindful of the party's hit points and all of your various parameters. Don't take on more than you can handle. And there's always a good rule of thumb to stay within the wooded area around town. Don't really start to venture beyond that until you're at least level 4, because the enemy encounters really do become random once you get beyond the wooded area. There's no guarantee what exactly you're going to run into, but there are some pretty nasty monsters between Cornelia and the Temple of Chaos, I believe is its name. So just keep all that in mind. At this point, I have been talking about the importance of all the progress that has been made to save progress again, but also now that we have reached level 4, we're getting ready to embark on, well, not on, but into newer territories, venture further than we have ventured so far. So I'm also talking about, in addition to saving on a frequent basis, to also have multiple save files, just in case anything were to go crazy. You would have a fallback option. And it's in this very moment that I believe I actually did say something along the lines of, now it's time that I actually practice what I preach. So I'm creating a second save file as I'm talking about it, which is actually kind of funny timing. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I talk about more stuff. I'm not sure about what, probably some kind of personal experience I had, but if I'm being honest, I don't remember what that, for instance, was. I really wish I did. I'd be saying that instead of all I'm saying right now. But there's some really important things being said. Again, I don't remember. Probably something along the lines of, what I plan to do next episode. So, with that, I will leave you to enjoy the last couple of minutes of the episode, which is, I think, just looking at the status screen, which isn't really that entertaining. So I may actually just keep talking right now to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. Yeah, here we go. Here's the status screen. Sorry, it took longer for it to load for some reason than I thought. But yes, I will spare everyone. I will not mindlessly ramble on. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. I definitely hope and pray to not run into any more of these technical issues. I will do whatever I can to do tests, do some kind of troubleshooting ahead of time. And I promise to give a much better experience moving forward. So, as always, thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I'll catch y'all in episode 2. It's the LP Guru signing out.